And let's look at some of the things that may not be in favor of that. The cons. It won't work in a struggling relationship.
So I think that goes back to the trust issue there. If you
Yeah.
had trust issues, if your relationship is bad, taking separate vacations probably isn't going to help it. I don't know necessarily that's going to hurt it, but it's probably not going to help it anymore.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I guess you could see where you maybe take a break from one another. I mean,
But that's
we've
different.
all done that, I'm sure, in our relationships especially as they're starting out. But yeah, I can see where that would not necessarily be the best. I mean, people could argue the point. I don't know that I would disagree with them.
Yeah.
That something like, we're having some problems, so I'm going to go over here, and you're going to go there. Meaning to a vacation of some sort. But it's problematic. Let's put it that way, right? Number two. So this is absolutely. I think we both have done this. You might feel lonely. Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone? Because you've gone more vacations, I think, without me than I've gone on without you, and that's not a fault. It's just the way it's worked out.
Things worked out. No, and I think that is absolutely true. I might be having a great time. I might be enjoying everything where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Right.
But there's still those same moments where I think, oh, Michael would really love this.
Yeah.
It also this would really be so much better if Michael was with me.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are absolutely those moments.
Yeah.
But those are things that you put on the list to go back to. So then I can show you where I've been and what I've done. So.
Yeah. And we've actually done that
before.
We've gone to places and later that person gets to come with the person, on another vacation, and you chalk that up. But at the time, and neither one of us are prone to absolute loneliness,
right?
But we haven't spent so long apart, and in the age of video and phones like this, I remember when I first moved to Chicago. So I got a job in Chicago, and we lived in Florida at the time, and our son was in his senior year of high school. So we didn't want to move yet. And my job was actually supposed to be only 6 months, and it turned into 18 months, and it turned into 5 years that we ultimately stayed there. But that first 6 months, my friend and I went up there to do this job, and you stayed home because Hunter was in high school his senior year. We weren't going to move him.
No.
And at the time, I wasn't even really planning on moving. I was just like, I'm going to go do this contract. It's a project, finish the project, come back home. But we would watch, what was the show? The zombies?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. We would watch Walking Dead together, and I didn't have it, right? Is that
whatever?
What it was?
Yeah, your cable channels or whatever that were in the hotel that you were staying at didn't carry that channel.
Right. So you would watch it on an iPad, or like put the iPad or something.
I would have it on the TV, and I would turn the iPad around to the TV so you could watch it with me.
So we watched it together because, and I tell you that story because, I was lonely. I was there with my friend, but, it was just a guy I work with that I've known for several years. Again, probably 15 years now.
Yeah.
But I was lonely for my family who were all in Florida, So that was a way to sort of bridge that. But nonetheless, she still wasn't with me.
No.
We weren't going to bed together that night. I didn't see her in the morning. We weren't making each other coffee. You just get lonely. So that's definitely a con. And if you're prone to that, or that's a part of your personality that is just stronger, that could be not a good way to do a vacation at all.
Absolutely.
That's 3. You could feel guilty. So this is an interesting, we've touched on it, maybe not from the perspective of guilt, but we've touched on some of the things that I think of. When you see that, what do you think?
Yeah. So I think that, I think you can feel guilty. So like I have obviously more vacation time than you do as a full-time employee. So sometimes I could think that, I feel bad, that I'm going to go somewhere and do something and leave you home.
Right.
So that's a little bit guilty feeling there.
Yeah.
So not only do I want you there with me, but for whatever reasons we couldn't work it out, with different schedules and things like that. So yeah, I could see feeling guilty.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing, especially if you feel like it's something that you may not get a chance to do again.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of times, we've been on vacation, like our first big vacation to Paris, but we didn't approach it as a once in a lifetime.
No.
Now, a lot of people will for various reasons. Maybe it's because of their age, because of their health, because of their finances. They think if I never... Or they think to themselves, I will never get back to Paris ever again.
Yeah.
It's my once in a lifetime. And if that were the case, and one of us had gone by ourselves, then you might feel guilty. It's like,
I really wish.
I wish that we had come together because I'm going to go home with these great stories, and you will never get to experience that. Now, luckily, we're not in a position where that's generally the case.
No.
But I mean, I guess you could, who knows? We could have gone on vacation and something interesting happened that you think, man, that is never going to present itself again. And I feel guilty that I didn't share that with you. But I said, it's not really been something we've been overly concerned about. But I definitely, I can see where that could happen for sure. Your partner may be upset. So we've talked about this actually already.
Yeah.
But have you ever been upset, or have I ever been upset, do you think, when we have gone on separate vacations?
Separate trips?
I can't think that I have.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I'm trying to be really honest here, and no, I don't think so at all.
No. And now, a caveat to that, we really didn't do separate vacations until we were much older.
Mm-hmm.
So, being upset. Now, here I can give you the opposite where it would probably apply. Would be if we were younger, say, and the kids were little, and I was like, well, I'm going to go hang out with my boys for a month, or not a month.
Okay.
that might be upsetting. I'm going to go hang out with my boys for a week, like I did for Grand Canyon. And you're going to be responsible for getting up both kids, getting both to school, getting to the baseball, and blah, blah, all the other things that parents do together, or they take on their various chores, and I'll see you in a week. That would be upsetting.
Now,
if you burdened that person, you felt like I'm burdened. If that person felt overly burdened because that person just left them with all the responsibilities to go have fun.
No, I agree with that. I mean, the only thing closest to that was the cross country trip that you and Hunter did.
Yeah.
And you guys were gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But that was the opposite. I was left home by myself.
That's true, yeah.
But I was working. So
right.
I didn't that was one of those times I couldn't take the time off to go on that trip. And I think that it was amazing that you and Hunter got to spend all that, those 3 weeks driving across the country and seeing all the different things that you got to see.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys went from Florida to California. Now, upset's not the word. A little jealous that I didn't get to go on that trip,
right.
But totally understood why I wasn't there. So was I at home at night crying because you guys were on the road together? No, not at all.
Right.
Was I happy to see the pictures and to talk to you guys about what you'd done, that particular day? Absolutely.
Right.
So a little different.
Yeah. That was an upset from more of a, like I said, just felt like you kind of made me missing out, but not upset at me for having done it.
No, not at all.
And you went, before we moved to California, we were still in Chicago. You came just coincidentally here to San Diego.
I did.
With zero intention of us moving. It just worked out coincidentally. 4 months later, we moved.
We were in Chicago and the weather was starting to cool off and I wanted to be by a beach. And so I came to San Diego for it.
Yeah. For like, a week or two?
A week, yeah. 10 days.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Because, and I wasn't upset about that at all. Again, it's like
you're always really good about that too,
though. My general perspective is go enjoy when you can, because you never know when tomorrow doesn't arrive. So
absolutely,
you need to take these moments and just do them. And far be it for me to stand in your way of going to have some interesting experience. So that's always been my thing. So I don't know that I would ever be upset by the mere fact that you went on a vacation.
Right.
That it wouldn't faze me.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love you.
No.
Just put that out there.
Sure, Dan.
You missed out on shared memories.
We've
absolutely a con.
Yes, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
We have. There's like the moments where I was like, oh, I know Michael would have really loved this,
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I think also to sort of piggyback on that idea, like we talked about earlier, if I were to go see something and I thought, she would love this, we're going to come back.
Yeah.
The difference is I come back as having seen it. So we don't get that same experience. You know what I mean? It's like, I've seen this before. Not that I'm like to say the Grand Canyon. We've both been to the Grand Canyon.
But not together.
Mm-hmm. But the first time I went was when that trip with Hunter, he was 12 and he's 26 now. It was a very long time ago. But had I said, I'm going to bring you back. Well, it's not less impressive, but it's not my first experience.
Yes.
Or the first time we went to Paris was together. If you had taken me later, then it kind of, there's like, again, I'm walking all around this, but it's like maybe there's a little bit of like, it's not as exciting because it's not my first time. So we're not really sharing that first view of the Grand Canyon, that first view of the Eiffel Tower or the Louvre, or the first view of whatever the thing may be, the Colosseum,
changing the guards,
Rome, and changing the guards. So share that exact moment. Sharing it is kind of special. So I can see that being is something to be concerned about. Again, though, I think more so for people that think I'm never ever going to get to do this again, and I've missed sharing it with the person that I share my life with.
I think that's a really good point. And that's the other thing too, is I guess when we have taken trips together or separately, it's never been with the thought that this is the only time we're ever going to be here.
Right. Yeah. We've always thought, we always put it on the list of things we're going to go back to see.
Absolutely.
And we have a list mentally of like, we would go see that again, or we would live there again, or we would do that thing again.
Yes.
And there's this list of things we would never do again. But it's never been, thank God I got to see that one time thing. Now, I guess if I'm out on a fishing boat and a whale breaches, is that going to happen over and over again? No, that's such a random thing. But as long as they don't move the Eiffel Tower, then I'm fine. We know where it's at. We can find it again. Or they don't move the Grand Canyon. We can go back and see it again.
I agree.
There's only so many of those things that won't be there later. But I think that's right. Hope you enjoyed that. Let us know in the comments below what you think about taking solo vacation. Have you ever taken one? Have you ever not taken one but would secretly like to take one? We would like to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
And make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you get notified every time we drop a new video. And in the meantime, keep on tracking.